there is a truth you must observe, one that society has trained you to overlook. From your earliest days, you learned the importance of being agreeable, of placing others first, of self-denial. Now you find yourself depleted, a quiet resentment brewing within, hoping that your silent struggles will be seen. But the rescue you await is not outside of you. In trying to hold up the world, you have let go of your own center. This is not a path of virtue, but of unconscious servitude. You were not born to be a vessel for endless expectations. You were born to fully inhabit your own existence. So today, let us consider a profound shift, not away from kindness, but away from mere niceness, not towards selfishness, but towards conscious self-preservation. Agreeableness is not the same as goodness. We have been guided to believe that a smooth surface is the highest good. Yet, agreeableness is often a shield we use for comfort, not a bridge to truth. Being nice can mean you quiet your authentic voice, you disregard your own feelings, and you maintain a calm exterior while your spirit aches for truth. True goodness, however, arises from a place of clarity and inner strength. It flows from a core of alignment where you express what is real, you move with integrity, and you live with awareness, even if this ripples the waters of others' comfort. One path seeks to be liked, the other seeks to be whole, and there is a universe of difference between them. When you begin this practice of honoring your own being, you start to align with the rhythms of life itself. You nourish your body when it signals hunger. You allow it rest when it is weary. You decline what you know will deplete your spirit. You cease asking for external permission to be here. This is not a statement of pride. It is a form of profound intelligence. The flow of life does not reward those who endlessly empty themselves for others. It nourishes those who live with awareness, who hear their own needs and honor the responsibility of meeting them. Conscious self-care, seen in this light, becomes an act of inner sustainability, a vital step toward a balanced and centered life. Consider the simple truth that you cannot pour from an empty vessel. When you constantly pour your energy outward to please the world around you, your own inner well runs dry. You become tired, resentful, and feel a deep sense of separation from yourself. What began as a selfless offering slowly turns into quiet suffering. But when you allow yourself to be filled first, you become a source of abundance. Your joy is genuine. Your presence becomes calming. You cease offering your wounds to the world and instead share your wholeness. This is not a self-centered act. This is wisdom. Many who seek to please are not acting from a place of kindness. They are often guided by fear, a fear of judgment, of conflict, of not belonging. And so, they adapt and bend to keep others at ease, all while quietly moving away from themselves. Let us see this pattern for what it is, a strategy for safety. When you reshape your truth to fit another's expectation in the hope of being accepted, it is not an act of love. It is an act of fear wearing a friendly mask. True connection can only blossom when you show up as you are, not as a carefully crafted version seeking validation. Let go of the performance. Allow others to see your truth, even if it means some may choose a different path. It is time to see that boundaries are not acts of harshness. They are sacred spaces. Saying no does not mean you are unkind. It means you are clear. When you establish a boundary, you are not building a wall to keep people out. You are tending to your own inner garden, protecting your energy, your peace, and your path. Others might call you selfish when you are no longer endlessly available. But what they often mean is, you have removed my access to your energy on my terms. Let them have their words. Your life is far too precious to be shaped by misplaced guilt obligation. When you learn to honor yourself in this conscious way, a deep clarity arises. You begin to discern what is important, what takes from you, and what nourishes you. The external noise fades. The drive to perform, to justify, to be accepted softens. You start to live with an inner compass, with a quiet purpose. And here a beautiful paradox reveals itself. This focus inward does not create separation. It deepens your connection to everything. You begin to show up more completely, more authentically, with a grounded presence. You no longer need others, so you are free to truly choose them. That shift changes the very nature of your relationships. In time, you will understand that this journey is not about serving yourself at the expense of the world. It is about becoming so full within that you no longer look to the world to define your worth. You can love without being consumed. You can give without being depleted. You can serve without resentment building in the shadows. You will stop making yourself smaller for others' approval and instead begin to expand into your truth. Let them call it what they will. Let them see it through their own lens. But do not again forsake your own center just for the appearance of harmony. Because your life deserves more than a performance. It deserves your full and authentic presence. When you take a breath, it is a natural, unquestioned act. You do not ask for permission from those around you. You do not wonder if your breathing might inconvenience another. You breathe because it is essential for life. The same profound truth applies to your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Yet, on your journey, you were taught to second guess, to pause, to quiet these essential needs for the sake of others. You were conditioned to see self-honor as a negative thing, that to prioritize your own wellspring was somehow wrong. But the simple reality is this: no one else can breathe for you. No one can think for you. No one can live your inner life for you. If you abandon these core needs, no one is truly served, not even those you aim to please. Conscious self-care in its purest form is not about disregarding others. It is about ceasing to disregard yourself. When you cultivate an awareness of your own energy, your limits, your truth, you will naturally stop participating in things that drain your spirit. You will no longer attend just to be agreeable. You will stop saying yes just to avoid a feeling of guilt. In its place, you will begin to act from a space of deep clarity. Your actions will align with your path. This alignment creates a powerful, positive ripple. Those around you will feel your presence more profoundly, because you are rooted, not scattered. You no longer give from a place of obligation or fear, but from a place of fullness and free choice. Many people confuse this path with being cold or distant, but this conscious self-attunement is intelligent. It is the deep realization that you cannot mend the world if you are fractured within. You cannot bring light to others if your own inner fire has been extinguished. There is no great honor in silent suffering, no strength in emotional self-abandonment. When you exist in a state that is detached from your own inner needs, all of your efforts, even those that appear noble, are diluted. You become weary. Resentment begins to grow, and the kindness you show becomes a mask, not a true reflection of your spirit. In the same way that you would not ask another person to nourish your body for you each day, you must not expect the world to manage your inner vitality. This is why it is so essential to be mindfully self-aware, to wake each day and check in with your own state of being first. What do I need in this moment? What is draining my energy? What replenishes it? What truth am I quietly setting aside? A person who is aligned with themselves in this way is not a danger. They are a grounding force. They are not easily swayed by others' expectations. They do not get caught in the snares of guilt, shame, or the hunger for approval. And because they are so firmly anchored within, they can be truly present for others without losing their own center. They know their no, and it requires no justification. They do not over-promise. They do not exhaust themselves to be seen. They know the greatest offering they can make to the world is their own clarity, their own alignment, and their own peace. This path also cultivates a deep compassion. It is not the compassion of duty, but the compassion born from understanding. You see the struggles in others, their patterns of seeking and suffering. You no longer judge their journey, but you also know not to join them in their chaos. You become a quiet example of what it looks like to live with inner dignity. You do not lecture, you simply are. You do not command, you inspire by your very being. And those who are ready will feel it. They will start to question their own choices. Some may even begin the journey toward their own freedom. So let us reclaim the idea of self-care, redefine it, understand that to honor yourself with awareness is to honor the life that flows through you. You did not come here to be a martyr, to lose your essence for the sake of appearances. You came here to grow, to awaken, and to become so deeply rooted in your truth that your presence itself elevates the world. Cease apologizing for choosing your path. Stop waiting for others to grant you space. Just as a tree reaches for the sun without guilt, just as a river flows to the sea without asking permission, you too must live in a way that honors your own nature. This is not selfishness. This is profound wisdom. You cannot pour water from an empty cup. Yet so many people spend their lives trying to do precisely this. They give away their energy, their time, their love, and their presence to all those around them, without ever checking the state of their own inner wellspring. They awaken already tired, move through their day in a state of depletion, and return to rest feeling hollowed out. But this constant outflow without replenishment is not goodness. It is self-abandonment wearing the mask of virtue. In time, even the strongest spirit will start to bow under the weight of such a way of living. When you give without first filling your own cup, the giving itself changes. It becomes a transaction born from guilt, not an offering born from generosity. Your smile is no longer a reflection of joy, but an fulfillment of an expectation. Your help does not flow from an abundance of energy, but from a fear of being judged if you were to decline. This is not true compassion. This is fear wearing a pleasant disguise, and fear always casts a shadow of resentment. Sooner or later, the weight of unmet needs and unspoken truths will start to turn your kindness into bitterness, your patience into quiet frustration, and your love into silent despair. To fill your own cup is not a selfish act in the way many perceive it. It is an essential practice. It means you take the time to understand what restores you, what brings you peace, and what reconnects you with your own center. This might be found in solitude, in space for quiet contemplation, in rest that is free from guilt, in boundaries that are honored, or simply in moments of silence in a world full of noise. When you begin to value these things, you are not closing yourself off from the world. You are preparing to meet the world from a place of greater depth and strength. You are ensuring that what you offer comes from choice, not from a sense of pressure. The idea that endlessly serving others while forgetting yourself is a noble path is a harmful illusion. A person who is drained, weary, and inwardly empty cannot be present, patient, or loving in a truly healthy way. Their interactions often become mechanical, strained, or forced. They feel unappreciated, their patience wears thin, and they secretly wish someone might see their inner struggle. But the quiet truth is that most people are occupied with their own journey. No one is coming to remind you to tend to your inner fire. That sacred duty is yours and yours alone. When your cup is full, your entire reality begins to shift. Your energy feels vital once more. Your words carry a quiet weight. Your presence becomes a healing force. You are no longer just reacting to the world. You begin to respond to it from a place of fullness. Your boundaries become clearer, not because you are angry, but because you hold your own peace as sacred. Your yes carries true power, and your no is spoken with firm tranquility, needing no defense. People will sense this change, even if they cannot name it. You begin to attract relationships and situations that mirror your own self-respect. There is also a profound ripple effect. When others witness you living with inner balance and self-honor, it can give them silent permission to do the same. They might start to question their own state of exhaustion, their own patterns of giving without replenishment. They may begin to awaken to the truth that taking care of themselves is not a weakness. It is a deep form of wisdom. Your full cup can inspire others to stop running on empty. Without ever preaching, your very way of being can begin to shift the world around you. So instead of striving to be all things for all people, begin by being truly present for yourself. Fill your cup until it is overflowing. Then, you may give from that overflow, not from your essence, not from your life force, but from the boundless abundance you have cultivated within. That is the kind of giving that heals, that uplifts, and that empowers. That is the kind of love that does not leave you drained. You were not placed on this earth to run dry. You were meant to be a light. And to shine, you must first nourish the flame within. The pattern of people pleasing is often confused with kindness. But if we look closer, we find something much deeper at play. When a person constantly adjusts to meet the expectations of others, consistently says yes when they feel no, and molds their behavior to sidestep disapproval, this is not always flowing from a place of love. It is often flowing from a place of fear, a fear of rejection, a fear of not being liked, a fear of being left alone. These patterns do not grow from the soil of inner peace or deep love. They are rooted in a feeling of insufficiency. And while they might look selfless on the surface, they are often a quiet way of attempting to guide how others see us and feel about us. Trying to please everyone can become an unconscious form of transaction. You give in the hopes that others will approve of you. You act in a specific way so that you can be included. You silence your honest thoughts so that you do not risk creating discord. This is not true generosity. This is a trade. You are offering parts of yourself not in a free way, but in exchange for validation. The smile, the quiet agreement, the compliance, they all become instruments used to avoid discomfort. You can start to believe that love is something to be earned through self-sacrifice, that peace is found only by avoiding all conflict, and that your worth is measured by how useful or agreeable you are to other people. Living this way over a long time becomes deeply taxing. You find yourself surrounded by people who do not truly know you, because you have never allowed them to meet the real you. You can feel resentment when your endless efforts are not seen or acknowledged. And yet, you may continue to give because you are afraid of what might happen if you were to stop. You can feel caught in a role that no longer fits. Yet, stepping out of that role can feel like a great risk. This is not a state of living. It is a performance, and the price of that performance is your authenticity, your own sacred boundaries, and your inner freedom. True love does not ask for a performance. It does not ask for constant agreement or a perfect mask. It breathes in the air of truth. When you are honest about your own needs, your own limits, and your own thoughts, you invite authentic connection. Some people may resist this honesty, particularly if they have become comfortable with your pattern of pleasing. But others will offer their respect. The relationships that stay with you when you cease pretending are the ones that are truly worth your energy. They are built on mutual respect, not on silent agreements built from fear and expectation. Releasing the need to please is a truly powerful inner shift. It means you no longer carry the weight of other people's emotional comfort. It means you trust in yourself enough to speak with quiet honesty, even when it is not easy. It means you stop moving cautiously around the fear of being disliked and instead start to walk with stillness in your own truth. This transition can feel solitary at first, but it is a necessary solitude. It is a sacred journey from seeking external validation to finding your inner alignment. There will always be moments when being agreeable feels like the easier choice. But each time you choose your truth over comfort, each time you say no when it is necessary, you reclaim a piece of your inner strength. You start to see that your value is not found in being liked by all. It is found in being true to yourself. This quiet honesty becomes your anchor. It creates the boundaries that protect your spirit and opens up space for connections that are deeper and more real. The more you release the need to manage how others see you, the lighter your own spirit becomes. Life ceases to feel like a stage and begins to feel like an authentic path. You begin to speak, to act, and to move with inner guidance, not calculation. You are no longer a mirror, showing others what they want to see. You are a light, clear and still. This is not selfishness in a negative way. It is a form of liberation. And the more you reside in that truth, the more you realize that the people you were trying so hard to please were never seeing the real you at all. There is a moment on the path when you must stop looking outward for reasons and turn your awareness inward with total honesty. It can be easy to point to society, to upbringing, to circumstances, or to fortune for the state of your life. It feels safe to believe that your challenges are only the result of external forces. But the deepest truth is this: no matter your starting point, no matter what you have endured or what you did not receive, the duty to shape your own experience now rests with you. No one is going to live your life for you. No one can walk your path, feel what you feel, or make your choices. That power belongs to you and you alone, as does the responsibility it holds. Taking this inner responsibility does not mean assigning blame for all that has happened. It means you are taking charge of what happens from this moment forward. You cannot always change the world around you, but you can always choose how you respond to it. You can exist in a state of reaction, constantly shifting blame and staying in the same place. Or you can take a deeper breath, observe where you are, and ask the powerful question: what must I change within myself? This is the beginning of true transformation. It starts not with others changing, but with your decision to stop waiting for them. Inner maturity is the realization that growth is not something that is given to you. Peace is not a gift that arrives at your door. It is cultivated through diligent effort and self-inquiry. If your mind is in a state of suffering, it is your work to seek the tools for its healing. If you find yourself in a harmful environment, it is your work to establish boundaries or to walk a different path. If your life feels adrift, it is up to you to discover what gives you a sense of purpose. No one else can do this discovery for you, and no one owes you their energy to fix what you are not facing yourself. This understanding is not meant to create shame or guilt. It is meant to help you reclaim your inner power. When you take full ownership of your life, you cease waiting for permission from others to live fully. You no more rely on external praise to feel a sense of worth. You stop allowing the past to dictate the possibilities of your future. This kind of self-reliance is not harmful. It is deeply courageous. It means you have stopped looking for a rescuer. You have turned off the autopilot of habit and have taken the controls of your own journey with conscious intent. Life becomes more vivid when you hold this sense of ownership. You no longer move without direction. Your choices become more intentional. Your daily habits start to reflect your deeper values, not your fleeting fears. You begin to say no to what distracts you and yes to the discipline that strengthens you. This internal shift creates profound external change in how you feel, in what you create, in how you connect with others, and in how anchored you feel within yourself. When you avoid responsibility, you can feel like a passenger in your own life. But when you accept it, you become the architect. You realize that each day presents a new choice to build or to allow decay, to rise or to repeat. Responsibility offers clarity. It invites you to decide what kind of life you wish to create and what you are willing to practice to bring it into being. And while this may feel like a weight at first, it is this very weight that builds your strength. It turns you from a spectator into a conscious participant. The greatest change you will ever make is the shift from blaming your circumstances to building your character. That is when the excuses fade and the true path reveals itself, not because it was hidden, but because you were finally ready to see. Responsibility is not a burden to be feared. It is the key that unlocks your true potential. The day you take ownership of your mind, your peace, and your path is the day you step into your authentic freedom. No one else has to change for you to begin. The change begins with you. Guilt is one of an inner pattern that can create immense suffering if it is allowed to grow unchecked. Yet, it is often used by the world as a tool to guide behavior. From a young age, many are taught to feel a sense of wrongness for honoring themselves, for saying no, for holding different desires, or for simply existing in a way that does not align with another's wishes. Over time, this feeling of guilt can become an automatic response. You start to feel it not just when you make a mistake, but even when you do what is right for you, if it causes discomfort in another. Guilt of this kind is not born from deep moral wisdom. It is often born from fear and unconscious conditioning. You are not here to live a life designed to keep others comfortable at the price of your own inner truth. Your purpose is not to dim your own light so that others do not have to squint. It is not your duty to shrink your aspirations, delay your own peace, or lower your energy so someone else feels more at ease. If your joy makes another feel uncomfortable, that is not your weight to carry. It is not your job to manage their inner world in response to your own growth. You are not responsible for how another person interprets your truth. You are only responsible for living that truth with clarity and a compassionate heart. People who have grown accustomed to your patterns may call you selfish when you stop feeding their comfort. They might observe that you have changed, that you are distant. But what has truly shifted is that you are no longer giving them control over your own inner peace. You have stopped seeking their approval before you make your choices. You have stopped apologizing for simply being who you are. This change can be unsettling for those who relied on your quiet compliance to feel secure in their own world. Let them feel unsettled. Allow them to walk their own path of understanding. That is their journey to take, not yours to direct. You do not need to experience suffering to demonstrate that you care. You do not need to keep yourself small so that others will not feel insecure. True love, authentic connection, and deep friendship all flourish when each person is allowed the space to grow and evolve. If someone genuinely values you, your happiness will never feel like a threat to them. They will not ask you to hide it or quiet it down. They will celebrate your becoming, not feel resentment toward it. And if your journey into joy causes someone to step away, it simply means that the connection was not built upon a foundation of truth. It was built upon a foundation of control. Many carry guilt as if it were a currency they need to spend to be worthy of love, validation, or belonging. They may believe that if they just feel badly enough, others will finally accept them. But guilt is not a currency that can buy peace. It only nourishes a cycle of self-doubt and a reliance on the outside world. The more you allow guilt to be your guide, the further you drift from your own true nature. It depletes your spirit and it clouds your perception. It makes you doubt your own needs, question your desires, and pause before pursuing what brings you light. And all for what? To protect another person's comfort zone. Releasing this ingrained guilt does not make you uncaring. It makes you clear. It allows you to enter into your relationships with honesty, not with unspoken resentment. It helps you make choices from a place of inner alignment, not from a place of expectation. It liberates you to be fully present in your own existence, rather than constantly observing yourself through the eyes of others. Guilt serves no one when it becomes a prison. It does not create more love. It creates more distance from others and, most importantly, from yourself. To live without this unnecessary guilt is to live with trust. Trust in your own heart. Trust in your own fundamental goodness. And trust that honoring your own spirit is not a problem that needs to be solved. If it causes a disturbance in another, that is their work to do. You are allowed to grow, even if others choose to remain where they are. You are allowed to be free. Let go of the guilt. It was never truly yours to carry. There is a deep misunderstanding in our world about the nature of setting boundaries. Many are taught to believe that saying no is impolite, that declining a request or creating distance from a draining situation is a sign of being cold or uncaring. But the profound truth is that boundaries are not impolite. They are a sign that you understand your own worth, your own limits, and the nature of your own energy. Boundaries are not about pushing others away, but about protecting your inner space so that you can show up in the world more fully, more honestly, and without the shadow of resentment. Without healthy boundaries, even the kindest heart will eventually feel drained. To say no is not an attack. It is an act of deep clarity. It is not a wall designed to isolate, but rather a gentle filter that protects what is essential to you. When you say no to that which does not align with you, you are simultaneously saying yes to what truly matters. You are saying yes to your own inner peace, to your purpose, and to your presence. Many people have come to confuse endless availability with love, but a love that demands the price of your own well-being is not love. It is a form of self-neglect, and over time, this path leads to a feeling of being used, to frustration, and to the slow fading of your own self-respect. Many people feel discomfort around boundaries because they have grown used to a dynamic of control, not of honesty. They may expect you to be constantly flexible, to bend to their own needs, and to disregard your own. When you suddenly begin to honor your space and reclaim your own energy, it can be unsettling for them. They might call you selfish, distant, or changed. But what they are truly experiencing is their own discomfort now that they no longer have unconditional access to your energy. They are being met with the reality that your kindness was not a permission slip to be taken for granted. It is not your duty to make other people feel comfortable at the expense of your own inner truth. It is not your responsibility to manage the emotional responses of those who do not respect your space. When you begin to establish your boundaries, you are not causing harm to others. You are bringing healing to yourself. You are no longer guided by guilt or by fear. You are no longer repeating the cycle of giving and then feeling regret. You are no longer trying to rescue everyone else while you yourself are slowly sinking. You are learning to choose what aligns with your own spirit. Boundaries teach the world how to engage with you. When you have respect for your own time, your energy, and your space, others will learn to do the same. But even if they do not, you will no longer offer your energy to disrespect that is disguised as closeness. You will no longer sacrifice your own needs simply to keep a false peace. True peace is not just the absence of outer conflict. It is the presence of inner alignment. And that kind of peace can only come when you begin to live with this quiet honesty rather than with constant compromise. There is no nobility in trying to be all things for all people. You are not here on this earth to constantly prove your love through your own exhaustion. You are not here to be stretched beyond your limits to meet the needs of everyone while your own needs are ignored. You are here to live a full life, and a full life requires space. Space for stillness, space for reflection, and space for renewal. Boundaries are what give you this sacred space. They are the quiet guardians of your soul's rhythm. Once you learn to hold your boundaries without needing to apologize for them, your life begins to feel lighter. You no longer say yes out of pressure or remain silent out of fear. You start to move with intention. You speak your truth, and you let go of the need for others to understand it. You stand with quiet firmness in your choices, without the weight of guilt. And in doing this, you create a life that is rooted in your own strength, not in sacrifice. This is not a path of cruelty. It is a path of clarity. And clarity is the very foundation of true freedom. There comes a moment in life when the act of pretending becomes too heavy a weight to carry. You awaken, and you see that the smiles you have been offering do not match how you feel inside. The words you have been saying are not your own, and the roles you have been playing were written for someone else. To pretend is to expend great energy, yet so many continue to do so because of fear. A fear of losing connection, a fear of not fitting in, a fear of being judged. But this fear is what slowly extinguishes your truth. And over time, your life can become a series of quiet compromises, rather than a true expression of who you are. When you finally begin to release the deep need for everyone's approval and acceptance, a liberating shift occurs. The false layers begin to dissolve, and what remains is your authentic self. It may not be perfect, it may not be polished, but it is honest. And honesty has its own quiet power. It may not always make you popular in the eyes of the world, but it will make you free within yourself. You start to speak with more clarity, to act with more certainty, and to walk through the world without bending to every external expectation. You stop trying to fit into spaces, and you start to stand in your own, even if it sometimes means you stand alone. As your authentic nature begins to shine more brightly, some people will naturally drift away. Those who were connected only to the version of you that was easy, agreeable, or served their own needs will no longer feel at ease in your presence. This might feel like a loss in the beginning, but it is truly an alignment. Life begins to gently remove what no longer belongs, and this clearing creates the space for what is truly meant for you. You do not have to chase after anyone. You do not have to explain yourself over and over. You simply allow your own truth to be a filter, releasing what is not real and welcoming what is. To be alone in your own truth is far more peaceful than to be surrounded by those who only love your mask. Solitude can become a sacred space when it is entered into from a place of clarity. In that quiet stillness, you find yourself again. You reconnect with your own values, your own desires, and your own inner voice. The deep urge to conform or to be accepted at all costs begins to fade. You learn to value your own company. That self-respect then becomes the very ground upon which you make all future choices. The question is no longer, what will please them, but what is true for me? Authenticity is not about being perfect. It is about the coherence between what you feel, what you think, and how you act. It means your outer world starts to become a reflection of your inner reality. You cease to live in a state of contradiction. There is a deep peace in this alignment. Your presence becomes clearer. Your energy becomes more centered, and you start to attract people and experiences that resonate with your core being, not with your performance. These connections may be fewer in number, but they will be deeper, more meaningful, and more lasting. Life will only meet you as deeply as you are willing to be true. If you are willing to settle for approval, you will be surrounded by people who like your performance, but not your essence. But if you hold space for truth, for honesty, and for respect, not through demand, but through your own unwavering presence, you begin to call toward you what is truly yours. You stop trying to negotiate your own worth. You stop feeling the need to explain your boundaries. You simply live in a way that communicates to the world, this is who I am, and I will no longer apologize for it. When you stop pretending, you stop betraying yourself. You stop editing your voice, your dreams, and your presence. This is where true inner power is born. It is not loud or aggressive. It is steady, still, and clear. And the world around you will gently shift to meet it. The right people will feel drawn closer. The wrong ones will fade away. You do not need to force anything. You only need the courage to release everything that asks you to be someone you are not. In that space, truth will find you, and truth will always bring with it a sense of peace.